That state, this state, is all knowingness is. Faith can bring you there as a springboard. But knowingness, shall we say, is the great equalizer. It will supersede every other state immediately when you allow yourself to simply remember, I am. And that you recognize in that state, there is no question about that, all other questions in that moment will dissolve. You will go back to zero, back to now, back to here. And then from there, look at whatever situation you were experiencing before. From this state, look at the situation. You will begin to see it differently. It will change your perspective. And you will see the illusion you were in. States of knowingness allow you to perceive more clearly any state of illusion you may have been under. So anytime you feel fear, doubt, confused, stressed, struggling, striving, at odds, sad, remember, I am. And from that state, without question, look again at the circumstance from an attached, detached point of view. And understand the illusion that was there, that is no longer there. We will, during this encounter, demonstrate a few other ways to lock in the idea of this knowingness. For it is really easy to create, very simple to create. And there are many, many ways to arrive at this state, because all paths lead here. All paths lead here and now. Because there is no when else, there is nowhere else. You can come here quickly, you can come here slowly. We are talking about ideas now that will allow you to experience a quick transition to this state of knowingness, so that you can come from here when you observe anything else you have done. Come from the power of the illusion and look at the illusion of power you were under before. And see it for the illusion it was. Now, let's have 2 volunteers. You. Come up. Stand one there, stand one there. On either side. Facing each other. Now, does anyone have a piece of paper? Please provide one piece of paper. Does anyone have a writing implement? All right. Someone take the piece of paper. At the top of one side of the piece of paper, make a large dot. Do the same on the other side, at the same top. Make a large dot, so that both dots are at the same top end. Have you done this? All right. Place the paper in the channel's hand with the dot facing up. Is the dot up?
Dot is now in your hand. So.
With the dot up.
It's a little advanced for me.
Thank you. Is the dot up?
Yes.
Can the two volunteers see the dots on their respective sides of the paper?
Yes. You guys want to stand up on the...
You may stand differently if it helps you. Face each other, look at the paper. Do you see your respective dot that is facing you?
Yes.
All right. When I ask you, I will point this way first, then that. Please answer the question I will ask. You first, you second. All right? This is a single event. It is one event. But it has completely two different outcomes. Do you see the dot?
Yes. Yes.
When I ask you, tell me which way the dot is turning, left or right.
Left. Right.
Once more, out loud. When I ask you, tell me left or right, which way is the dot turning?
Left. Right.
But it's a single event. All I am doing is moving the paper this way.
Forward.
You both agree that it is forward?
From your point of view. Perspective.
Yes. But from your perspective, it is moving left.
Yes.
And from yours, it is moving right.
Right. Yes.
Thank you. You may sit down. Now, the understanding here is relatively obvious. You can have a single event that actually has two completely different perceptions. Both are true. Both are true, depending on your perspective. So, when, from your reality, you see things moving, we see things moving right. So if you are saying, all I see is this thing moving left, negative, let's just say, what do you need to do to see it moving right or positively? Look at it from our point of view. That's all you need to do. It's that simple. Change your perspective, you change the outcome. Either and both are true. It's just a matter of what you prefer to experience. We prefer to look at the paper from this side. That's all there is to it. And as soon as you decide to look at the paper from the same point of view that we are sharing with you, you will see the same reality we do, even if the event hasn't changed. I am still moving the paper this way. But you will always only see it going to the left if you remain in that perspective. Likewise, if you change your perspective to our point of view, even when the event is the same, you can only see it moving to the right. No other perspective is possible from our point of view. No other effect is possible from our point of view. The only way you can see this dot moving to the left again is to go back to your other perspective. So anytime you see it moving left, that tells you I must be looking at it from that perspective. If I want to see it moving to the right, I have to change my perspective. Is this clear? Yes. This is now something you know. It's obvious, isn't it? So obvious you don't even question it, do you? Is that dot going to look going to the left to Bashar? No, it's only going to look like it's going to the right to him. You don't even question it. It's obvious. That is knowingness. You understand the nature of this mechanism. It's clear to you. And as soon as you understand the nature of the mechanism, there is no more doubt. There is no more question. It just becomes completely and utterly obvious. Does it not? Did any doubt at all even enter your mind which way the dot was moving from my perspective? Why? It was obvious which way it was moving from my perspective, wasn't it? When you allow yourself to understand the laws as they exist, then the true mechanism as it exists with full understanding becomes obvious. There is no more question. There is no more doubt. You don't go, whoa, how is this supposed to happen? How is this supposed to work? It just becomes obvious to you. It becomes your nature. It becomes something you no longer question. It just becomes who you are. That is all it becomes. And you can, from that place, you can, from that position in life. What? Fly! Yes. You can fly wherever you wish to go, however you wish to go, because nature unfolds before you. Your nature unfolds before you in an obvious way. An obvious way. Let it be that obvious, because it is. It's as obvious as the fact you exist. It's as obvious as the fact that the dot looks like it's going one way to you and another way to me, even though it's the same event, even though nothing else has changed. It's that obvious. Understanding the four laws, understanding the nature of what it means to be a part of an infinite, all that is creation. Understanding these things, understanding the nature, the structure of these things will make everything as clear to you as these demonstrations were. It becomes that obvious. So that when many times we have heard humans in these interactions going, but Bashar, how do you know that? Because from our perspective, it's as obvious to us as you walking up to a red rose and saying, it's red. It's that obvious. Can't you see? It's simply red. It's that obvious from our perspective. So this whole idea of shifting into a state of knowingness and going beyond faith is eliminating the wondering and allowing yourself to move into a state of obvious recognition so that everything becomes absolutely apparent. And you can speak from that knowing state with respect, with authority on your own life. That's the whole idea. I am no more an authority than anyone, but I speak from a place of self-authorization, from complete conviction, because, not because we have any special secret, but because we come from a state of being in which the universe, the nature of existence is simply obvious to us. That's all. And that's all we are attempting to impart to you, is the obviousness of existence. Just as you know it is obvious you exist, just as you know it is obvious that the dot moves one way to you and another to me, even though the paper only moves one way, just that is that obvious to you, The nature of existence is that obvious to us. That transparent, that apparent, that plain, and can be to you if you come from that same state. This is what knowingness is, and why it moves you beyond belief, beyond faith. So, does that make sense? Are you beginning at this moment to feel that things can be a little more obvious? All right. That's a good beginning. So then, let us review the 4 laws from this point of view. We have already begun with the first. You exist. When you understand this fully, it becomes automatically apparent, again, that there is only now, that time is an illusion, although the experience of it is real when you create it in your consciousness. But what that means is that relative to the concept of time, if you exist now, you always have and you always will. Because existence is the only quality you have in the now. And it's not that you did exist in the past or will exist in the future. You can say those things and experience it that way coming from within the illusion in your consciousness, but from the absolute state of knowingness, you would understand that you are the past, you are the future, that these things are in you. You are not in them. These are concepts within your consciousness, and that they exist here and now with you, because you exist here and now, and that's all there is. So you are eternal, you are infinite, and please. Now, let us take a moment, because again, this is something we have experienced from humans in our conversations over and over again. It seems that many of you do not really have a clear grasp on the dictionary definition of the word infinite or unconditional. Infinite means infinite. It means anything and everything that you can imagine must, by definition, exist somehow, somewhere, in some aspect of all that is. Anything and everything. Yes, we understand that various things may not be relevant to a local experience as you have created it. Nevertheless, it doesn't discount the fact that you are an aspect of an infinite existence. Infinite. Infinite. So if you exist now, which you obviously do, and if you are, in fact, an expression of an already existing infinite creation, you have, right here and right now, the ability to access that infinity in whatever way serves the idea you are creating yourself to be within the local experience. You have the ability to access anything that is relevant, everything that is relevant to the definition of your life as you have created it in your local experience of existence. But even though you may experience only what appears to be relevant for the theme of the life you have locally created, nevertheless, in that experience, you are still supported by the totality of infinity. In order to have a local experience such as you are having, you have to be supported by an infinite existence. If it wasn't infinite, if it was closed, if it was exclusive to some concept, you couldn't experience your local reality at all. The only way you can actually have a localized experience is if it's supported by an infinity that allows for any experience to be had that you can imagine, somewhere, somehow. And you still, even within your localized experience, have the ability with your imagination to draw upon those other infinite experiences to whatever degree serves your localized one. It's called imagination. It's the doorway, it's the gateway to all of infinity, to be interpreted through your consciousness in whatever way serves you. But the point is that you know that in order to be able to do that, in order to have an imagination that can conjure up things that don't exist in your reality, that aren't immediately experienced in your reality, it means you're tapping into an infinity that supports your ability to have a local experience and still provides you with a window on the rest of infinity. That's a powerful window, more powerful than you have imagined with your imagination. The paradox is that you can actually also curtail how you use your imagination to make it seem as if your imagination is more limited than it is. But the only reason you can do that is because you can imagine it to be so. That's the paradox. And again, let it be obvious, as we have said, you are unconditionally loved so much that you are actually then allowed to think you're not unconditionally loved. That's how loved you are. If you understand the power of that paradox, again, more of the nature of the structure of existence will become apparent to you, obvious to you. And you will awaken to the fact that the only reason you experience the limitations that you do is because you have decided to, for one reason or another. But when you come from a knowing state that you have done that, then it becomes obvious you can do something else. And being aware, just by itself, being aware of the fact that you can do something else is all that is necessary to give you permission to do something else. Because were it not so, existence would be conditional, and it's not. It's unconditional. So learn the definition of unconditional. It's not, yes, it's unconditional except for these conditions. You're the ones supplying the conditions, not existence. Existence is unconditional because it allows you unconditionally to supply conditions if you want. The only way that's possible is if existence itself is unconditional. Because if it wasn't unconditional, it might not allow you to impose conditions. The fact that you can actually impose conditions proves that existence itself is unlimited and unconditional. Let it become obvious. That's the knowing state. Is this making sense to you?
Yes.
Can I have your opinion and understanding about Freemasonry?
Well, that's a large subject.
It is a large subject.
Is there something specific you wish to discuss?
Where did it start? When
Essentially, it started with the idea of the organization you call the Knights Templar. You understand this?
Yes.
Reference?
Yes.
The idea is that in their time, they discovered certain things, certain ideas. Now, really, some of the ideas are very, very ancient and existed way before the Knights Templar. But you asked the question in terms of where the organization of Freemasonry began. And thus then, in that form, it began with the Knights Templar, even though the information that the Knights Templar found out about was very ancient information that preceded them by thousands of years. You understand?
I do. And the information is nothing particularly to be negative. It's how you view it.
Well, yes, of course. And much of what you now understand to be the kind of metaphysical knowledge that we are discussing today is actually what they discovered that was not very well known in your world back then. So a lot of the so-called secrets of Freemasonry and secrets of the Knights Templar and secrets of the mystery schools of Atlantis are all about the metaphysical understanding of how reality works and how you manifest and attract the reality that you prefer. That's really all that information was about. In fact, that's exactly what Jesus was teaching, Buddha was teaching, Krishna was teaching. It's really all the same metaphysical information. It just wasn't really known by the masses. And so because it involved the understanding of how to really use your self-empowerment, it was framed in a way and taught in a way that made it seem to be a very big secret. Because in many cases there would be a great deal of misunderstanding by the general public, and so it was thought that the only way to really preserve the information clearly and cleanly was to pass it down through the mystery schools of those organizations so that it wouldn't be corrupted. You understand?
Perfect, I do.
All right.